Hi folks, we've got so many new books this week, it should give you lots of good reading over your winter break. This Is How We Fly is a kind of retelling of the Cinderella story. Ellen is a recent high school graduate who, after getting grounded for the whole summer, is able to convince her parents to at least let her join the local Quidditch League. Yes, you heard right, Quidditch, like Harry Potter. There she finds out that it's not at all what she expects, and actually much, much more. It's great for fans of books like Dumplin', Fangirl, and of course, Harry Potter. The list of things that will not change is about just that. When Bee's parents get divorced, they all sat down and created the list of things that will not change. And they've stuck to it. But now that her father is getting remarried and she's about to get the sister that she's always wanted, she's wondering if the list might actually have to change. It's a lovely book for those experiencing changes in their family, and Rebecca Stead is a wonderful author. Many of you probably read her book, When You Reach Me. Jake's middle school is about to be shut down, unless Jake and his friends can figure out how to save it. So he's at the hotel where his mom works, trying to figure out how to do just that. He spots a bowl of jelly beans. Of course he chomps on them, but those weren't just jelly beans, he learns. One of the scientists at his mom's conference is developing the first ingestible information pill. And that's what Jake ate. So before long, Jake is the smartest kid in the universe. It's a very funny spy school-like read. Rent a Boyfriend comes from the author of the also great American Panda. We have college student Chloe, who is really nervous for her parents to meet her new boyfriend. And for good reason. She's never met him. She hired him from Rent for Your Rents, a company specializing in providing fake boyfriends trained to impress even the most traditional Asian parents. It goes so well that she unexpectedly starts to fall for him herself. The trouble is, his whole routine is a sham. Will she still like the real Drew after her rental period is over? This is the 10th volume in the KOMI Can't Communicate series. KOMI is about to become a sophomore, and she's bummed that what she thought was the best and easiest year is now behind her. But when she starts school and meets a new girl with an extraordinary sense of fashion who just can't seem to find her tribe, she's convinced that she can be of help and has some new skills to exercise this year. Cordelia Clay and her father heal and save remarkable creatures around Boston at the end of the 19th century. Their home is full of recovering dragons, squilches, and diggles. But their work must be kept secret, because other people in their town aren't very welcoming to outsiders and immigrants, so what would they think of these creatures that they call monsters? One morning, Cordelia awakens to discover that her father's disappeared and all the monsters. She's only got a couple clues and a very cryptic note to guide her, but she's determined to set off and find out what happened to her father and find those little creatures. It's a great fantasy and a great mystery. When Santiago meets the kind Maria and her wonderful daughter Allegra, he decides to join them on their plans to leave Mexico for El Otro Lado. Unfortunately, they are detained by ice while crossing the border, and their journey is much tougher than they could have dreamed. You could call it an adventure, but it's also a very realistic glimpse of a story all too common among many seeking a better life in the United States. Maureen and Francine are twins and best friends, until middle school, that is, when Francine decides that she wants to reinvent herself and there's nothing that Maureen can do about it. This is the first in a new graphic novel series. Lacey is a girl who codes. She's always dreamed of working as an engineer for a company called Moncha, which is the biggest tech firm in the world and the company behind this little creature called a Baku, which is like a customizable pet that acts kind of like a smartphone. So when she finds one that no one else can fix except for her, it lands her a spot in her dream school. But that little pet she fixed turns out to be a little bit more lifelike than she thought, and it leads her to discovering some secrets within her competitive new school. Aaron and Tilly meet at the George Washington Bridge at the same time, both intending to jump. The story alternates between Aaron, Tilly, and all the people affected by their deaths. including those who never got the chance to know them. And it's told in several ways, with each, both, and neither of them jumping. The author is a suicide survivor himself, and this is a deeply thoughtful, ultimately hopeful story of the strong feelings that led them both to this point and the healing power of human connection. Linda Sue Park was a big Little House on the Prairie fan when she was a kid, and in Prairie Lotus, she re-envisions the story about a girl determined to fit in, realize her dreams, get an education, become a dressmaker in her father's shop, and make at least one friend in this new town that is unfortunately very prejudiced against young Asians such as herself. She's a dynamic character though, and she is determined to win them over. Timmy Failure is a detective. He runs Total Failure Inc. alongside his pet polar bear. He takes all sorts of cases and charges 5 cents a day, hoping that it will all add up one day so that he becomes incredibly rich. There's one problem though. He's got a rival agency in town that is standing in his way. Timmy is hilarious, as you can guess, and the illustrations make me think this would be a good one for the Wimpy Kid fans. Farron dreams of honoring her family and the gods by becoming a warrior. But the society has shunned Farron and her brother Alex ever since their father disappeared, which has forced them to train in secret. It's inspired by Chinese mythology, and it's a fantasy that follows Farron as she embarks on a quest to save the world from demons. It's perfect for fans of books like Arusha and the End of Time and The Serpent's Secret. What is racism? Where does it come from? Why does it exist? What can you do to disrupt it? If you've been wondering some of the answers to these questions, these 20 stories from some incredible authors will teach you about social identities, the history of racism and resistance against it, and how you can use your voice for change. This is a great one for the sports and the mystery fans. High school journalist Mitch is puzzled by this new kid Angel, who's an incredible football player, but only in secret. And Mitch can't figure out why he'd keep it that way. He's determined to dig into his past, but he comes up with much more than he ever could have imagined. So many of you checked out the first Shadow Children book that we've added the second. In the first, we met Luke, a third child in a society that's forbidden to have more than 2 children. In this one, he's no longer hidden, but he attends the Haddix School for Boys under a fake name, hoping that no one will discover who he is. It's even more fast-paced than the first, and if you like it, there are many more in the series. If you're hoping to start fresh for the new year, this would be the book for you. It's a great guide for young adults on how to organize schoolwork, bedrooms, and even schedules. It starts with a quiz where you identify your organization style and get great advice to suit your style.